Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. This is my favorite recipe for the holidays. I am showing you my flaky, layered, buttery, homemade biscuits. There is no mixer needed. It's all handmade. So let's get started. And getting right into the mixing, we are going to be using a food scale to ensure that all the measurements are to the exact gram. This is really important for baking. We want to make sure everything is well combined, and also that is the correct measurements for each to make sure that all the ingredients are interacting with each other properly so we can get the best fluff and rise from our biscuits today. And you can see I'm being very precise. I added a bit too much, and now I'm taking out about a tablespoon of the flour and putting it back in. And we'll also add 2 tablespoons of sugar. I like using organic cane sugar. And then I'm also adding in 1 tablespoon of baking powder. This is going to make it rise. There is no yeast in these biscuits, so make sure that it's not expired. We want to make sure we get the most surface area for our biscuit once it goes into that hot oven. And then also I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of salt. We're going to whisk this together until it's well combined. And to the side, I do have, you can see I was having a tough time. I actually have unsalted butter. It's 1 cup. I cut it up in cubes and put it into the freezer. We want to make sure that the butter and the milk in the next step is extremely cold. The colder the better. And what I'm doing here is I'm warming up the butter and squeezing it and pressing the flour into the butter and making it about almond-sized pieces. You could do this in a blender if you prefer, but I like having the most control when I'm doing it by hand. And this took me about 6 minutes to get to the desired size. And with the butter being a bit larger, it's going to steam the biscuit really nice, and it's going to be super flaky, and that's going to create these layers within the biscuit. And you'll see my folding and cutting method after, and that will also contribute to it. And we're going to do this for about the next 2 minutes here. I'm fast forwarding through this just so you can see the technique, and then in the next step we'll be adding in the milk. And now we're going to add 1.5 cups of whole milk. Please ensure that this is as cold as it could be without being frozen. I am adding the milk a little bit at a time and folding it into the mixture. We want to make sure we're not over mixing in this stage, since we are going to be the majority of the mixing once it's on the table. So just mix until almost combined. And now that my table is well floured, I am dumping out that mixture so we can get it into the shape that it needs to be. So I'm going to be molding this into a rectangle, long square, and we're going to cut it layered on top of each other, and we're going to be doing this 3 to 4 times throughout this process. I want to get as many layers as possible. So I'm folding it, and then we're cutting it, and then we are placing it on top of each other, pressing down, and we're repeating the same step. The more you do this, the more layers you're going to have, and it really makes for a fluffy biscuit. I have a prepared sheet pan with parchment paper, and I'm going to be cutting the biscuits into squares. I enjoy a square biscuit, and see how thick they are, and look at all those butter pieces in. So we're going to put this at a hot oven at 425 degrees. But first, we are going to be placing this into the freezer. I would recommend freezing this dough for 20 to 30 minutes, and this way it's going to have a nice shock once it goes into that oven. But I'm going to show you guys the time lapse. We're keeping it at 425 degrees for 20 to 23 minutes. And here are these beautiful biscuits right out of the oven. Check out all of those layers. Oh, they're just so fluffy. The tops and the bottoms of the biscuits are perfectly browned, and you can even still see the butter pieces in them. I really hope that you try this recipe. It was quick, easy, and anyone can do it. I really appreciate all the support, and thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I really would like for you to tag me on Instagram if you do retry this recipe, and I hope you enjoy the holiday season. I'll be seeing you guys on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, bye!